Hey guys, Matt here from Skygate Digital Marketing. I'm going to go through a welcome flow that we created for one of our partners. It's been running for just over a year now. This flow itself that we created and have tweaked over the last few months, the last 12 months, sorry, has generated $424,000 in automated revenue for our partners. So it makes sense to have this in place and have something set up. So I'm going to run through very quickly what we set up in terms of the content, the strategy, and then go through a little bit of the kind of testing that we would look at, that you can do the same. And then the idea for you is you could build something similar, for your brand or for your client's brand or whoever it is that it's for. So this is on Klaviyo. This is the very first email that comes through when somebody signs up to a newsletter on your website. So if somebody comes to your site through ads, organic, SEO, whatever, they have a pop-up that says, hey, sign up and get a discount, or sign up and get free delivery, or whatever it is that you're going to do as an incentive to drive people across. The very first thing we do is we mark this person as being active in the welcome flow. That then means that we can hide them from campaigns that are running. If we're sending normal blog campaigns out or normal content campaigns out, it's not the right time to be sending that information out. We want to keep people in this flow, give them the opportunity to better understand the brand, nurture them properly the right way, and ultimately make loads of money, like I've done here. So we made that there. Create a new property, call it what you want. We just call it welcome flow, text and active. And then you can test that with a profile that you may have yourself for your brand. So we sign up to all our partners' emails, and we can go into our own and we can adjust it and make sure that we mark this one as active and we know it then connects and works properly, so that when we do it later, we can make sure that we disconnect it, which I'll show in a moment. So first thing we do here, conditional split. So if they consent to receive SMS, we send them a text. If they don't, we send them straight to email. So this is when the pop-up says, join our SMS club, or give us your number for an extra discount, or, join the club, or whatever the reason is. For here, we do a bit of an extra discount, works quite nicely for this brand. SMS, 21% click rate is really nice. It's made, this has not even been going for a year. This has made an extra $10,000, automatically over the last however long it's been in place. Place order rate 5%. So not to be sniffed at. People get SMS wrong a lot of the times and they just don't do it because they can't be bothered, or they find that it takes too much work. It doesn't. Really, really plain, simple, easy message. It tells people, hey, this is the brand. This is what we do. This is what you can have. Here's your incentive. Boom, done. And then for the email, a standout from the crowd email. This one itself. So if you're only going to do one email, this has made the majority of the revenue for them. The first email is going to be, but if you've got the right incentive and it's working, you're going to make big money on this. So 85% open rate with an 18% click rate is really nice. And a quarter of those people, which is really high, have placed an order in the first email. And ultimately, it's generated $367,000 for this brand. So, not to be sniffed at. Then what we've done that works for this brand is we create a time delay of a day. We found this work quite nicely. And then we take them on a split. So if they've opened this email, they go straight down to the second email. If they haven't, we send them to this email. So we create a conditional split. And what we do has what somebody's done, they opened an email where the message equals this one. So welcome series flow, email 1, all there, boom. If you can't find the details when you go in to edit this, there'll be a 5 or 6 digit code up there. That's that one there. You can literally paste it in and it'll populate that for you. So what we do, we send them here and they give them another opportunity with a different subject line to open the first email, because we want to get people to start at the very beginning so they get the good touch with the brand at the very beginning and ultimately convert and make a sale. Then what we do, we wait a day. So if they've gone this way, they wait a day, they go straight to the next email, email 2. If they don't, they go and open it again, or they don't. 70% of people drop out at this point and they're done. Or sorry, they don't drop out, they go to the next email from there. And then whether they open is a different story. So we wait a day and then we bring them to the second one. So this is a we're built different email. This is sharing why you're different to whoever else sells what it is you sell. If you're lucky enough to be the only people that sell the thing you sell, great. Don't use a we're built different email. But if you do, an email that highlights why you're different to everybody else is the right thing to use. Let people know why you're different. What do you do that the other brands don't do? Do you do free delivery? Do you do no questions returns? Do you do something special? Does your product have something that your competitors don't have? Really lean into that. And this ultimately did $25,000 extra revenue with an almost 70% open rate. Really, really nice. Click rate's high. Place order rate's fine. And then what's worked for this brand? We wait a day again. So set a time delay for a day. And then we do there's no better time. So that really is it. There's no better time to buy X product, and here's why. Why is there no better time? Why now? Because the discount's still active, because you're solving this problem that you're solving, whatever it is that you're doing, the highlights why there's no better time. At the end of this, I'm going to add a little quick video on content buckets that we use for the standard setups that we do, and then you'll see how this kind of plays out here. And then we wait a day, and we do a full social proof email. So our customers say it best, yeah. And this is a 3, 4, 5 bits of social proof, and that's it. It could be don't take our word for it. Listen to what customers have to say about X. This is done nicely here. Nearly 65% open rate, click rate 1.8% is nice. And revenue of 10,000. It's actually gone up, which is nice. That then prompted us to add another email here later down the line, just to see what kind of extra revenue we can pull while still building that relationship up. The idea is not to have 10, 15 emails and trying to claw an extra couple $100 somewhere, because if you do, you're going to damage that relationship and see a lot more unsubscribes. And that's something you want to pay attention to as well. And then what we have here is a 3-day period. So they've got this far. They've had, why you're different. They've had all the value. They've had what you guys do, what you're about, what you offer. They've had the social proof. We found 3 days to be quite nice for this partner. 3 days from here, and then it's, hey, let's meet the team. So we introduce the team at the end. Now, sometimes people do this at the very beginning, but we found this to work quite nicely for this brand at the end. Ultimately, 63% open rate, nice. Click rate is 2%. And an extra $4.4 thousand, for this brand. And then at the end, we wait a couple of days to give people the opportunity to, get what it is that they want, make a purchase or don't, and then we remove them from that. They end up in the general segmented list that you've got. You can start sending normal emails to them. So things you want to be testing, depending on how you want this. If you want an SMS call, if you don't, then you don't put it. One of the big things is test the time frame. Go right down to 12 hours on this one, 6 hours if you really want to see what happens. Go to 2 days, 3 days, 4 days and see if it makes a difference. What we found here, it works quite nicely to have the times here, because when we set up in the sheet I'll show you in a moment, you'll see that we typically do 1, 2, and 3 days between the 4 emails that we do to get started with most brands. And that gives us the data that we need to then make decisions as to how many emails we're going to use for that brand and the time frames we're going to use. But we slow it down the further down we go. But for this one, a day, and then 3 days. And we've tested all these. We've tested a day in between, 2 days, 3 days, 6 hours, tested all those time frames. You can test the content, A/B test the subject lines, and see where you get the higher open rates. Obviously, higher open rates typically equals higher click rates, which typically equals more revenue. So don't sleep on that as well. And then obviously add this bit at the end, should you want to. What we don't want to do is be sending people emails that they're not ready to see because they're not at that point yet. So as promised, just wanted to go through a little bit of the content buckets that we focus on. So when we start with a new brand, we typically start their welcome flow. So when somebody signs up to your newsletter, here's a trigger set that we use. So subscribes to whatever the newsletter is, whatever the list is. Make sure the placeholder is 0 times to start on the flow. If they do, they want them out of this flow and into the post-purchase flow. So in terms of content buckets that we focus on, first one, a brief welcome, bit of an introduction. Thanks for signing up, discount. No more, no less. We found that to work really, really well. Don't need to go into massive reams and reams of emails. We found that some people really hit hard with, a huge story. It bores people. They're not interested at that point. They don't know you. It's very unlikely that they're going to sit and read a 7-minute email. Really short, concise, to the point. Welcome to X brand. Here's what we do. Thanks for signing up. Here's your discount. Here's your incentive. Here's what you're going to see in the future. And then we normally wait a day. Email 2. A bit more about the brand story, unique quality standards, benefits of shopping with a brand, and a discount reminder. So a little bit about the brand, what you do, why you're different. We're built different. So as you see in the flow we set up, we've moved the orders around, but this is how we start from the beginning, and we give ourselves the best data to move on. We then wait 2 days, and then on the third email, content buckets to focus on, social proof, display some popular products, discount reminder. You're making it really easy for them to buy. Here's what all these great people have said about the brand. Here's the popular product, so you don't have to think about it. Get this one here. Here's a discount. Boom. That's why ours has converted really well for this customer. And then the last one, what we haven't had in the flow that I've just mentioned is we focus more on the brand owners as we found that to work. So previously we had, join us on Instagram or join us on whatever social media platform is your most popular. It's typically Instagram for e-commerce brands, but whatever, if it's Facebook, or you have your own community or something like that, focus on the community and the social element as much as possible. So you could add this as the fourth email, and it could be, hey, thanks for signing up. Come and follow us on Instagram. So what this does here is, because if people sign up and buy the third, fourth email, they've not made a purchase. They might just not be ready yet, but there's a very good chance they'll come and follow your Instagram. And therefore, if they unsubscribe from your emails, they're on your Instagram, or your Facebook. And there's a very good chance that they're going to stay there for a while, and they're going to see content, and they might make a purchase from there. So even though we don't measure that per se on, Klaviyo, we found that this is a really good way of pushing people across. We did this for the brand in the flows I showed you, but ultimately we found it better to have a bit of a intro into the brand owners. So that's kind of how we'd set it up. If you want the whole setup here that we do, this is our starter for everything, for all the flows we create. If you want access to that, just drop me a message, comment on, this will be on YouTube, so comment on the comment section below, and I'll fire it over to you, or I'll put it in as a link somewhere once I figure out how to do that, because I have no idea. And that's it. I hope that helps. Any questions, drop some comments. Any observations, drop some comments in there. Always good to hear from you. Any suggestions on making it better, definitely drop some comments. Cheers, guys.